Hello, and welcome back to Dark Souls 3. This is part 7 of our thrusting sword run, and last time we took this tiny little target shield and we parried a colossal sword. Ultra great sword in this game. And we also went through most of Farron Keep. And this time, guess who's back?
Hello again. I have since heard a great deal about you. For one, that you are most gentle of heart. I too am bound by duty, but can offer you my sign. I hear that cordial intrusion lays the path to embers. If I can be of help, by all means, do call upon me. Blessing of the moon upon your journey.
So, that gets you Dark Moon loyalty, and that, like, she shows up there to say that once you get Dream Chaser's Ashes, the one that gets you the life ring, that's the one by the Great Wolf in Farron Keep.
Ashen?
And that allows you to summon her to help you with bosses. And off the top of my head, I know that she can help you with Deacons of the Deep, Prince Lothric. Before Prince Lothric, there's also Dragon Slayer armor. I don't know off the top of my head if she can help you with any other bosses besides those three, but she can help you with those three.
Tis what?
But here we can get an upgrade to our Crystal Sage weapon. We are one large Titanite shard away from RS stock, and we can get 3 upgrades to that one.
Pretty big, I know.
So that's something that I just quickly went through. And
So
did I accidentally sell it? I think I did. So don't think we're getting Havel's ring.
no.
Although we probably won't need it because this is a very light armor set. This is a very light weapon class. These 2 shields are very light. And like we're only at 55.8%, so we'll probably be fine without Havel's ring. Because either way, it's not as powerful in this game, like as compared to Dark Souls 1. Because Dark Souls 1, I believe it's like 50% more. Whereas here in Dark Souls 3, I think it's like 15%. Which, yeah, to get a fast roll in Dark Souls 1, you had to be at, it was 25 or 30%. I think 25%. Whereas here you can be at 70%. Which, I know that technically this is medium roll, but it's still fast. Don't do it, don't do it. Good. Anyways, in Dark Souls 1, the medium load is pretty slow rolling. It's not too bad, but it is noticeably not fast. I don't know about Dark Souls 2, because as of right now, recording time, I haven't really played it. I have a tiny bit, but it was a very long time ago. And I didn't get very far because it felt very off. but I know that for Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring, you can go up to 70% and still have a fast roll. Like, it's medium load, but the roll is still fast, whereas Dark Souls 1 does things a bit differently. I think we may be too far away from that to get the souls. Which is a wee bit tragic, but that did not go the way I thought it was going to go, but it worked out. Hey, we can just head back there. And here, Crystal Sages requires Titanite scales, which are dropped from these things. And so, we do not do much damage. I was out of stamina. But it's fine. And, ooh. Oh, they give 2 Titanite scales. Okay, I thought they gave 1. Never mind then. Well, very quickly we can drop down here. We can get Atonement and a Hollow Gem. And then Bonfire last rested at. We could probably go back to Firelink Shrine because we have enough for level. But who needs a level? We'll be fine without it. Things have never gone wrong after I've said that, as we all know. But I'm trying to remember how many summons are here. Because I know that there's Londor Pale Shade by the bonfire. If you're friendly with Yuria. I know that there's Blackhand Goddard over there. I think that he always shows up. No matter what. And I think there's a third one, but I can't remember, and so that might be me like deluding myself. Why don't you guys go after these guys? That sounds like a good idea. Like, just fight each other. I just wanted to get a neat little backstab in. There's no need to fight me. I mean, you can fight me. Alone, dead. Ah, there they are. Well, both of them are there. That's... You don't want to see that. Oh man, they're just going for it, aren't they? Oh man, they're just going for it, aren't they, man? Oh, you're dead, and once one falls, nothing survives. Okay. So about that hole, we'll be fine, and we don't need to put the level in. Maybe that was wrong. No, it's possible that that could have been wrong. But I'm trying to decide on whether we should ember up or not, and whether we should summon or not. Because part of me kind of wants to parry and see if parrying can work out. But another part of me is going, would it really be a good idea when we have a full level and against a Lord of Cinder when they're very fast? And as I've mentioned a few times, parrying in this game is a lot harder. And two-handing and just poking is pretty easy. Is one of the Dark Raids dead already? It looks like it. Oh, would you look at that? Oh, hello. Didn't even kill this. What are the Dark Raids doing? Failing the basic tenets of their job, they are. Cannot believe it. Well, we can poke them. We can clear out the rest of these enemies. And then... Again, I really don't know if I want to summon or not. We'll go one time trying to parry, and if the first attempt doesn't work out, then we can summon. But we'll see. We'll see. Someone's not happy about us doing a dex build. We'll just have to show them that dex builds are actually good. And we got hit, but we got the parry off successfully, so... And we're like half health already. No! Please. Please. We can just sit back and wait for the third one to show up, because... Ow. Well, we should have waited for the third one to show up. Oh my god, he's almost dead already. He's already dead. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Oh, these guys don't have much health. Huh. I assumed they would have more health than that. Are you a friend or foe? Ow, that was my entire stamina bar and half my health bar. Ow, ow, ow. Well, we got him to phase 2. Parrying did not work very well, but it can be done. You can't really expect things to go perfectly your very first time trying them. Like, you don't go into a Soulsborne boss expecting to win in your first attempt. Which, I fought this boss before, many a times, but this is my first run ever with a successful parry, so... Success, like, parrying is new for me in this game. Where is he? Where is he? Hello. I'm not gonna try to parry when he's got fire after effects. Ow. That was rude. Oh, you know, normally go for a slam. No. Bad a bit, watcha. Yeah, they really like their slams. And their slams are very easy to parry, so I like them too. Not parry, but backstab. And poke. I haven't been using it recently, but Shield Splitter is pretty good, actually. And nearly 20,000 souls with the covetous Silver Serpent Ring. Okay, good, good, good. And we have nearly 3 levels now. Hey, but hey, we did it without any summons. I've mentioned it a few times, but no rule that I'm not applying to Dark Souls 1 because I didn't think of it at the time, but only allowed to do each summon 3 times. And so really have to think out where I'm going to use my summons. Oh no. Stop it, that's mean. No, no, nope. You can go off the cliff. You can go off the cliff. That's what you get for being a meanie. But anyways, it's like, if I have a weapon class that I'm not super comfortable with, and so I go, yeah, I'd feel better with the summons, but then that means that I run out of summons on a later run where I really need it. That means that I could, here on my second single weapon class run, really screw myself over on like my 15th run. And so if I'm going to summon, I have to be very confident that I need the summon. And I'm not really confident that I need the summons. Ow. Yeah, that's something that I notice a lot. What? You're so mean. What is this about? Unbelievable. Sharp gem is good, but unbelievable. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I'm not really comfortable or confident with thrusting swords because I don't use them and I don't think they're particularly good. They're not terrible, but they're not like they're not nearly as good as, say, great swords, which I have a great love for. But like they can do their job. Like they can get things done. And oh, scimitar. But I usually don't really need the summons for the bosses. I'd feel better if I had them, but I can beat most of the bosses without them. And I honestly have more trouble with the areas and just the normal enemies than the actual bosses. And I think part of that might be because the bosses are supposed to be hard. And if you swing on that, it's a guaranteed parry. Ow. So rude. But bosses are supposed to be difficult. And so you kind of go in with the mindset that it's going to be difficult. Goodbye. And so because you come in with the mindset that it's supposed to be more difficult, because it typically is, you come in like expecting more. Like you approach this situation. How do I explain this? You take it more seriously and you treat it much more like a threat. Maybe more than you actually have to. Whereas comparatively, you don't treat the normal enemies with nearly as much respect. And so that can lead to you kind of overestimating the bosses and then underestimating the normal enemy. Jesus Christ. Alright. Nope. Oh my god. Jesus. Right, yep. Like I said, you come in overestimating the bosses, and so they feel easier. And then you underestimate the normal enemies, and so they feel harder. And there's also the fact that I approached that very differently than I usually do. Because I basically... Nope. You can try. You are not going to succeed. But I pretty much never fight two of them. And again, thrusting swords aren't nearly as good. Whoosh. But they aren't nearly as good as great swords. Because great swords have more range, and every single swing stuns them. And also does more damage. Alright, but we're just gonna let this ball roll back and forth a little bit. Because as it goes up, oh, did they die already? Did they die that quickly? Also, that wall is freaking out there. Well, there he goes. I'm just gonna point out that I hit him. He did not take damage, and then he ran away. I'm just gonna point that out there. Why is it being so mean to me? Alright, well, he instantly went back. Whoa, 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 you're dead. Jesus Christ. No, you're dead, man. You are dead, man. These people have no chill. But yeah, that guy was one hit from death. I swung on him. He didn't take any damage. And then he ran away. Right, but with him dead, that breaks Undead Bone Shard. And like I said, piercing swords are not particularly good. And they really lack in crowd control. But yeah, letting that go kills this guy. So instead of having to fight 2, you only have to fight 1. Although... Now, we got that stun there. What hit me? Because I didn't see anything that hit me. Oh, okay. The guy shot me with a bow. Okay. There we go. Jesus. Like, this area is normally very, very easy. Normally, this area is a complete cakewalk for me. Because I typically come in with greatswords, which have good reach, good damage, and good crowd control because they swing in a wide arc. And so it's like, all 4 of these skeletons would be dead. Just saying. But now, there only one of them was dead. Because thrusting swords just don't have that crowd control aspect to them. But they're faster. And so that's why you should use every single weapon class in at least one run. Goodbye. Just so that way you can see all the strengths and weaknesses of each weapon class. Even though on runs where you're using something that isn't as strong, or using something that isn't as strong in a specific area, there will be difficulty spikes, but those difficulty spikes will help you learn. Even if it's just to learn what to avoid.
Oh, hello. How very fortunate. Have you seen my companion, Horace? To my shame, I was snared by a trap and we've become separated. I've not been able to find him since. I see. Horace is a valiant knight. He can look after himself, no question. He's probably searching for me right now, with twice the resolve. If you happen upon him, please tell him that I remain in the catacombs and will lay prism stones to guide him, as always. Please send him my word, I beg of you. May the flames guide your way.
Yeah, very sad, but I got very distracted by that. Just, hello! I've never seen that before. But I'm glad I saw it. That skeleton looks like they're having a good time. Like these skeletons. Some crazed maniac with a needle came and poked him to death. Someone's gotta take care of that. You can't have some psychopath running around the catacombs, rolling through pots willy-nilly. Some of these explode. They turn into vengeful spirits. Like that. Now the ring we picked up boosts your dexterity by 3 points. And gives you that invisible look while rolling. Which is pretty neat. Ah, yes. I'm sorry, did he try to back out of that? Ow. But he... Like, did he try to move to the side? So I'd get shot instead of him? Because that's not how that works, good sir. You can get out of here. Out of stamina? Good. I was fully expecting the guy attacked to follow me. That was quite unnecessary. But not as bad as you followed me, I suppose, so... Teehee. Right, well... Like I said, this thing has, like, negative crowd control. You can be locked onto an enemy, like, actively locked onto them. Like this. And swing. And still miss. Because they moved half an inch to the side. Alright. If you want to hold your shield up, totally fine, even though my weapon bounces off. I have a special pokey move. That'll get you. And we're gonna let that roll out of the way. And here we can get that one large Titanite shard that we needed for the upgrade. And now we can head back. Back to Firelink Shrine. We got a undead bone shard, so we can upgrade our Estus potency. We can upgrade our weapon once. We can upgrade the Crystal Sage weapon.
Jeez, what?
Yeah, it requires 2. And we got 2 from the one enemy. And we now have descaling index for this. So that's better. And now the next one takes 4. And then I believe the one after that takes 8. And then a Titanite slab. Alright, so let's see, 10 base, 4 additional, 14 damage. Pretty good. Nice.
Pretty.
You'll love to see it. What are my stats at? 13 strength, 22 dex. Okay.
Up.
And we can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. This is a great sword and an ultra great sword, so we can get rid of that. Don't need that. Bundles, yeah, they don't last as long, so we can get rid of those. Attract more attention from foes, nope. Intelligent, nope. Curved sword, nope. Now we can get rid of it. This, not gonna be using that. Ferris's hat, I got those off on my own. We can keep that. Why not?
Ashen 1.
Alright, good.
Welcome. Very then hey.
So we can get 4 halfway to a 5th level. 2, 3, 2, 2. Nice. So yeah, we can do that.
Farewell, Ashen Maiden.
You'll love to see it. Oh, Egon is here. Hello, friend.
Ah, I know you. Been some time. I just dropped in to see how she's getting on. Now, what are you playing at with this circus? This cesspool of doddering old folk and degenerates? Couldn't be better. She must fit in perfectly here.
So he's pretty mean, but he can help you with Crystal Sage and Dragon Slayer armor. And what's going on with... It's like, it whooshes every time I look away and back at him. That's strange. But I almost forgot to do that. But now we can head back to the catacombs. And we died to the 2... They're not really basic enemies, but... the 2 kind of like big-ish enemies. If you have enough stamina, you can just run that. And we might have been able to make it. But I believe it's around like 27 or 30 stamina, something like that. For you to comfortably make that. And just in time. But if you go down there, well, Embered. You can get invaded by Night Slayer Sorg. I thought I heard walking. I don't know where that came from. Nope. And come back here. Die, die, die. Thank you. And I talked about it a bit before, but I played Dark Souls 3. Anyways, I played Dark Souls 3 long before I played Dark Souls 1. And something that always kind of stuck out to me was people had this, like, complete and utter hatred for the bone wheel skeletons. Talking about how they were, like, the worst thing ever created, and how they were a complete mistake. And because I didn't play Dark Souls 1, I'd only played Dark Souls 3. I was like, they aren't that bad. Come on. They're, like, ooh, they roll around, you have to chase after them a little bit. Ooh. But they're not too bad. But after playing through Dark Souls 1, and as of recording this, I've done every single weapon class. Though uploading is gonna be a bit different. But I can kind of see why. Oh, ooh. I was locked onto him and completely whiffed like 3 swings. Because he was like 1 pixel out of range. Oh man, you just keep going, don't you? Alright. You have no chill. Alright, you can calm down. Thanks for large titanite shard, though. Anyways. Ow. No, you're getting back here. You're not escaping from the stock. But something I realized was like why people hated the bone wheel skeletons. Because of Dark Souls 1. And that the Dark Souls 3 bone wheel skeletons aren't nearly as bad. Like, I think that these guys are way worse than the bone wheel skeletons. Because that was literally half my health bar. That was literally half my health bar. Mind you, the closest thing the bone wheel skeletons got to damaging me there was being a distraction while another enemy got me. And the other enemy isn't a big deal. It's very slow, and outside of the one that landed on my head, they can be completely ignored. Whereas these things can fly all around, they have god tier range. Large titanite shard. But like, those things are infinitely worse than the bone wheel skeletons here. And so I feel like people just hate the bone wheel skeletons in Dark Souls 3 because they remember like their first run. Okay. But they remember like their first run through the catacombs where they didn't know anything, and there was a lot of pain. And I think that's how a lot of what hate Dark Souls 1 does comes from. Like Blighttown as well. Because my first 1, maybe 2 runs through Blighttown. Okay. But after my first few runs, once I figured out kind of how to play the game and what the mechanics and whatnot were, Blighttown wasn't bad at all. And, like, people talk about the like toxic enemies, the toxic blow dart guys, but that doesn't make any sense to me. Sorg. Because those enemies, it's very easy to just walk 2 inches to the side. Ow. Because they're pretty similar to, like, thrusting swords, where they go in a straight line, and in a straight line they go. And that can often be a good thing. But if something moves 2 frames or 2 pixels to the side, you're going to whiff. And it's the same thing for the toxic blow dart guys. Like, just a blow dart comes at you, and it whiffs completely. Like, you will be fine, just walk ever so slightly to the side, and you'll be good. But people just remember that first run when they didn't know anything, and remember how much they died from that, and then just, like, hold a grudge, essentially. And, like, beyond doing that and having it whiff, there's also the fact that they're one-time only enemies with very little health, so you kill them once, they're gone forever. And even beyond that, if you go through the Valley of Drakes, either by starting off with the Master Key as your starting gift, or by starting off as a thief, or just by going through Darkroot Basin into the Valley of Drakes, you can avoid all of them. So the toxic dart enemies are only really a problem on your first run, but people just hold a grudge. Anyways, here's Henri.
Ah, hello. We meet again. Have you seen Horace anywhere? Oh yes, I see. I've searched high and low with no luck. Perhaps he's left the catacombs. Oh, Horace, where have you run off to?
But that's something that I noticed a lot, is people will have this, like, first impression of an area, and then they'll just cling to it as if it's the gospel. And so their first time with Blighttown is bad because they don't know how to deal with the toxic enemies. And so they just spend the entirety of existence hating Blighttown, when it's really not that bad. And then they'll get to the Painted World of Ariamis for the first time and go, whoa, this is a beautiful place, it's snowy, it's so different, it feels very magical. And they'll just hold on to that, even though the Painted World of Ariamis has more toxic enemies than Blighttown, and the toxic enemies are worse, and you're more likely to get toxic, and they respawn, and they also have fireballs. Touch a goblet. But that's not to say that the Painted World is bad. I don't think it's bad at all. It's a pretty good area. It's very tight-knit. And if you take the enemies away, I think that's a very, very well-designed area. But the Painted World is connected to Anne Orlando, which is, like, the halfway point in the game. and you're still fighting hollows, the enemies that you see in the tutorial. And so, for me, there was like a tiny bit of burnout from the fact that I was going, we're halfway through the game still fighting tutorial enemies. Come on, what is this? And then there was also the fact that, again, just toxic enemies, killing those enemies gave you toxic. The enemies respawned, and the area was very, like, squished together. I suppose is a way of saying it. Like, there wasn't a lot of room to move around. And so it kind of hard to squeeze past the enemies, meaning that you're highly incentivized to kill them. But, again, killing them gives you toxic. And so it's very... And, again, I don't have a big problem with that. I just find it strange that people will hate on Blighttown and specifically point to the toxic enemies as a major problem when there are toxic enemies that are even worse in the Painted World of Ariamis. And then on top of that, there's also bone wheel skeletons, which people also massively hate. Also in the Painted World of Ariamis. But then, anytime I heard people talk about it, it was nothing but positive feedback. Like, nothing but people going, oh yeah, it was great, and the area wasn't fully finished, but Miyazaki liked it so much that he decided to keep it. Which, I'm glad that he kept it. It's a very cool area. I just find it a little entertaining. A little strange that... Uh-oh. I see the prism stone there. Hopefully Annery isn't dead. Because I normally go down there before killing Wolnir. Uh-oh. That wasn't very cool of you. Oh. I'm just going to... Don't look at me, 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 don't look at me. Yeah, go down there. Thank you. So you can let the two of them duke it out. The skeleton's going after him. Yeah, you go, little guy. I believe in you. But I just find it very interesting that people say that one area sucks, but say that another area is good, even though they have the same thing. Like, the thing that is apparently great has the same thing that makes the supposedly sucky area suck. It feels like cognitive dissonance. Black Blade from the Mimic, Soul of a Demon from the Demon. But yeah, it just feels like a piece of cognitive dissonance where people had this one bad experience with Blighttown, and so they will look for any excuse to hate Blighttown, and then they had this one good experience with the Painted World, And so they will look for any excuse to like the painted world. Even if those two beliefs contradict each other. Now, large Titanite shard. But personally, I like the painted world as a level. I'm not a big fan of the enemies because, again, you're halfway through the game still fighting tutorial enemies. And you might say, oh, well, they're toxic variants. So it's like, they're different, but like, some of them are toxic variants. But there's also some that are just the basic tutorial hollows. And so, I'm not a fan of the fact that you're halfway through the game still fighting tutorial enemies. Made even worse by you go into Duke's Archives, an even later area, and you're still fighting hollow soldiers, which are a little bit different, but still enemies you can find in the tutorial area. So I really, really like the layout. The enemies are just a tiny bit disappointing. And then Blighttown, I wouldn't really say that I really like Blighttown, but it's not bad. Like, I prefer Farron Keep. I don't know the poison area for Dark Souls 2. Like I said, I haven't played that game yet.
Very then take.
So,
Farewell, Ashen Ming.
don't know about Dark Souls 2, but for Dark Souls 3, I like Farron Keep more than Blighttown. And for Elden Ring, not Lake of Rot, but the other one, the Shaded Castle. I like Shaded Castle more than Blighttown, but Blighttown isn't bad. I think it gets too much hate. But anyways, this is probably a good place to end it. We went through the last little bit of the Farron Keep. We killed the Abyss Watchers. We went through the Catacombs of Carthus. We killed High Lord Wolnir. So we took out 2 bosses and a mini-boss. And we got some weapon upgrades and more upgrade materials. So, pretty good progress. And, yeah.